Alright, Sal, you said you wanted to have this calculator here expanded. Of course, it only has a single digits on each term, A and B, and of course only addition and subtraction. The way the original builder did it, I don't remember his name at the moment, or like their name at the moment. They have basically this here's the adder. It's just gonna like add or subtract the numbers, and then send it through all of this, which is just like most part this calculator is just like to display what the result is. Well, of course, like it only has single digits and all that, which was fairly good for its time, as redstone was a new thing. But now with more recent techniques and the additions and various things, we have more we can do. So we can, for example, take here is my take on the calculator. I have expanded on it, as you can see. Here we have double-digit terms, and you also have, of course, addition, subtraction, and now multiplication, which is why the resulting term is 4 digits long. For example, now, right, we have a 52 and 21 set up. The minus symbol there is just impossible to get rid of, so can't really do too much about that. So let's check out 52 plus 21. Gotta give it a moment as it is a very slow calculator. But as you see, it's 73 as expected. And in case you're wondering, no, it's not a fluke. I can change, let's see, that's the B term there. I can change the 1 to, for example, a 9. So then it'll have to carry over. This should then be 81, I believe. Which it, of course, calculates. Uh, it, of course, does subtraction. So we can do like 52 minus 29. Which it's gonna flicker a little bit. And then it yields the correct result, yeah. I believe that's the correct result. Yeah, there's the correct result, yeah. My bad. Yeah, of course, and of course, the start of the show, we gotta show like multiplication. Uh, I'll just give that a second. I'll just figure out what the correct answer is gonna be real quick on my phone here. So that's gonna be 52 times 29. That'll be 1,508. It says the calculator. It's kind of just like hung up here because it's burning out torches. That's why it might like stop. And as you see, it's the correct answer, 1,508. You can double check the answer yourself. So yeah, that's just a couple examples. How it works, of course, it is way, way larger than the other one, right? Yeah, I'll show it off at like this little like diagram here that I made. So here, of course, you have the control room where you choose like what numbers you want to use. You have like for the A side and the B side here. So it's just basically first it's gonna like add like for example like let's say you have like 52 right on the A side. It's gonna add the binary number of 50 and the binary number of 2. So it's just gonna add those two together, and that's what's gonna end up going off into the rest of the computer or like the calculator. Same happens with the B or like the A side. Just gonna do the exact same because it's basically really impractical to work directly with, for example, like binary coded or like yeah, binary coded decimal in the calculator. So it's way better to just calculate with like the proper binary numbers themselves. Then they're just gonna like be put together here so they can like be more easily bust around. So, and it's also gonna like split once over here. You go into the display. Of course, you saw like the upper and like the middle numbers. That comes from this line here. Of course, like this purple line here is what's gonna basically say what operation is gonna be performed. That's also gonna like tell the screen basically like what symbol to show for the operation, and of course like gonna choose over here what it's gonna do, right? Now let's say for example first addition. if it's gonna do addition, it's gonna skip the invert B. It's just gonna skip that because like you don't need to do that. It's just gonna add and then just send off the result. Subtraction is a little bit more involved. To do subtraction, you have to basically create the 2's complement of B for the 7-bit binary number. As it is basically just a 7-bit binary calculator, you can plug in basically any 7-bit number, which would basically say like from 0 to 127, but because that's a bit more of a hassle, I didn't really bother. But yeah, you can't just calculate that, but it's gonna like create the 2's complement of B, add that with a base version of A, and if B, for example, is larger than A, then it's gonna like put on the negative flag, which will basically just tell the rest of the calculator that like, okay, this number is negative, and the negative number that comes out of that type of operation is basically gibberish for us, so you have to like reconvert that to a more easily handled number, which is basically what this inverter here is for. And it's also gonna like uh, put this like cyan line here on as well, as like this white line here is just like this actual result. So that result's just gonna like go into this line here. I'll talk about multiplication a little bit later. And of course, go into the magenta thing here, which is the most tedious part, which is binary to BCD. I'll get over that when I get over there. Or I'll get onto that when I get over there. Of course, you also have like the multiplier, which is also just multiple adders in series, as it is just the easiest way to do it. I could not be bothered to, for example, do like a serial, like a multiplier or whatever. So that's just also gonna put the number into the BCD here, or like the double algorithm here. Of course, the screen as well. So I guess that gives kind of an overview. So of course here you have like the numbers from the panel. It's gonna add here, and then it just like merges the both of the lines here. So you have like the A on top and the B on the bottom here. And this line here is because it's way easier to transfer this around. It's just gonna go into here behind the screen, where it's gonna go into its own like uh binary to BCD converter. I just used the double algorithm, which basically has a lot of, let's see, it's these chunks here set up in a very specific way. I won't really get into detail on it, but basically if the number that goes in is larger than 4, it's gonna add 3. Simply said. I won't get too much into that. It is also the reason why this calculator is so ungodly big. It's basically just to handle the 4-digit numbers that you can get from the multiplication. Uh, yeah, of course you have like this display here. I have a single like digit here. Of course you have the display. You have a wire that basically connects to every like single like segment on the display. So it's a 7-segment display. The classic. Uh, this here's kind of like the ROM, which will say like which lines to activate for like which numbers. And then you have like just like a few lines here, and this is basically what like chooses like, okay, which line to activate based off the input, as putting binary directly into there is just not gonna work. You have to convert it a little bit. So yeah, a little bit tedious that as well. Yeah. These lines here are just like busing, as I believe I said earlier. On the top here is the adder and subtractor. Um, so just this part here it does the addition. If I remember correctly, yeah. This here's the adder. It basically just adds the numbers. Not much to say there. It's just a very like classic ripple adder. Not much to say. Over here you have just like a couple XOR gates to invert the number, like to invert the B input. That's all this. And yeah, this top line here is just to have like the addition result, and the bottom here is just to invert the negative number back into a more handleable number. It is again just like a XOR gate line. Not much to say there. Yeah. And then you have the most tedious part. You have the multiplier here. It is basically just additions. Like you can think of like how you do. Let's say you were to like multiply like 55 by 55. You do 5 times 5, 25. Then you do 50 times 5, 250, plus 5 times 50, which would be 250 again. And then you'd add all that alongside 50 times 50, which will be 2,500. And you just like add all of those together. It's basically the same system here, and then you get the result from that. All that goes into this huge like double dabble like chunk here. I could most definitely optimize these quite a bit. Like I can just see like here there's like a little bit of an optimization, but I cannot be bothered, I'll be honest. I am honestly a bit done with this project. It's just been lying around, finished for like a couple days now. But yeah. Of course, this would not be possible without World Edit, or like it would be possible, but very unrealistic. So yeah. There's not a single like repeater. There's not a single like torch. Or no, of course there's a torch. What am I saying? There's not a single comparator. Basically nothing in here in this list except for like these four here. Another couple things to note. Because it's such an old version of Minecraft that it's the redstone is based upon, the only way you can, for example, make a diode, that would mean like a one-directional line, right? So like you can go from A to B, but not B to A, if that makes sense. Like I'll just like put up here. Yeah. Like let's say I want like this lever here to activate like over here as well, but I don't want that lever there to activate here as well. Like of course this works fine, but this does not work fine. So like I'd have to like set up uh a quick like diode here basically, which is just gonna like add like a lot of like sides to those. Like that's gonna activate both lines. This is only gonna activate this line. So the thing is, like in newer versions of Minecraft, you can just use, for example, like slabs or glass. You can activate, for example, the bottom one here, and that's gonna activate both lines there. But if you activate the top, it's not gonna activate the bottom. This was just not possible in older versions, or like in beta. Of course, like someone might like suggest to use glowstone, as you have like the classic like glowstone towers from like 2013. I believe they still work. Yeah. This didn't work back in beta, or like the version that the original build was built in. So I couldn't use any of these if I wanted to send something upwards or make like a diode. So that was kind of annoying. Like everything would be so much smaller if I could just use like this. Like there's so much space to save just by doing that. But yeah. I believe that's actually everything. Of course I have like the double dabble there. This was like a previous attempt. Like it did work. This is just testing for the multiplication. Here's like the final result of the a digit like display. Here are just like a couple other like attempts. Like I really wanted this one to work, but like because there were just like no diodes to work with it, it just wasn't feasible. But yeah, I believe that's it. Yeah, I know the world download should be available, and this only took like 14 hours, I believe, to make. And again, uh, wait, what? Hmm. Oh well, I might have not booted up with the world edit on. But yeah. But yeah, I'm glad that world edit's a thing, because like this would basically be impossible otherwise. Of course, like because like I'll let's see if I should maybe type it right. I'll yeah. I'll, for example, just activate the highest bit here, which I believe is going to be 4096. Alright, I'll just activate that. Of course, it's frozen, so it's going to wait a bit. And, alright. And as you see, it's going to be like blinking a lot here. That's basically the reason why you see the digits over there just like flicker a lot, and why it's like some of them might like, for example, lock into like a wrong digit for a little bit. Oh, it's 8192, right? Yeah, because it's gotta like handle digit like numbers up to 9801 because that's what 99 times 99 is. So, yeah, I'll just plug in that just to like show that like I guess that works. Uh-huh, 99. Alright, so 99. Alright. Yeah, there you can see like some torches have like burnt out because they were flickering too much. Like that was like a thing back in those days as well. Like there might have been like a way to like utilize that, but like could not be bothered to figure that out. The multiply, of course, gotta show the multiplication sign. Give it a quick moment. Like I am not happy with the speed at all, but like there's not much I can do. There's 9. Gotta give it a moment and it should like pop into 9801, I believe it was. It should be 9801. Why is it 8 off? 9999. Why is it not 8 off? It might just be like a torch that's like burnt out. I don't know. I tried this before, it worked fine. Well, yeah, I guess that's it, yeah. Alright, quick before like anyone like tells me that my calculator doesn't work, it was basically just because it was set up like this. This unrelated line here just then activated like the wrong line, so yeah, it's just that. I'll double check before I put up the world download that there aren't any more of these. I don't believe there are because I was like fairly like careful about that, but yeah, of course I like missed some, but yeah.